Okay. Welcome, hey everybody! Welcome to the Average Dave's Movie and TV Talk. Today is episode 28.
Finally,
we haven't been here for the last couple of weeks because we had schedule conflicts and work conflicts and all that good stuff, life stuff. Just a fair warning about our Movie TV Talk channel. We do talk spoilers. We do talk about politically sensitive issues. We are not politically correct at all. Especially about the entertainment industry, and we speak our mind about the entertainment industry. And every so often, some bad words might slip out. More so from Dave than me, but every once in a while from me as well.
You know, every time you say that, there's like kung fu fighting going on in my head of like a curse word trying to get out, and something's trying to stop it. And most of the time, I'm able to fucking stop it, but not this time. Thanks, Dave.
This is our opinion, nobody else's opinions, and always remember, entertainment, movies, TV is totally subjective, and that is what makes talking about it fun.
And by that, we mean there is actually a living, breathing human being out there that thinks The Last Jedi is the greatest movie ever made.
And they're so wrong.
It's sad that there actually is something
like some people out there.
No. It can't be more than one person. No, I will say that there's one person, but not two, because how could there be?
Don't forget, if you have any questions, please comment in the comment section or reach out to us at theaverageDavesTalk@yahoo.com. Also, I'll check out and subscribe to Okemo Valley TV on YouTube or at okemovalley.tv. And also on channels 1076 and 1086 on Xfinity Comcast. Got anything to say before we get started?
No, you get into your little quick topic.
We start off with a couple quick topics. The first one is the new Predator animated film that's out, Killer of Killers on Hulu.
Looks interesting. I haven't watched it. It looked interesting though. The trailer looked like it was something that I would want to watch, and I'm going to watch it. I'll probably watch it by the time we do, because we're coming back next week to do another episode. By then I would have watched it, and I'll let you know.
If you like the animation of like Into the Spider-Verse and what's the Netflix samurai movie?
Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Blue-Eyed Samurai. If you like that style of animation, you're going to like this animation. There's 3 stories on in the movie. It's 90 minutes long, but it goes by quick. It is not you don't even know you sat there for 90 minutes. It goes by quick. I loved it, and even people on Rotten Tomatoes, viewers and critics, I think they're at a combined 94%.
Well, you put here 92, which is pretty good.
That's averaging between the two. I think critics is 90.
Critics is who cares.
Yeah, 96, and viewers are 92 or something like that. So whatever.
I go by user ratings. Critics are useless.
And they're paid.
They've absolutely torpedoed all of their credibility.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The second one is just the information that's coming out from.
This is just great.
Disney reference Fantastic Four rumors. And the test screenings are not good.
Shocking.
Yeah, they're doing reshoots. People are slamming them for sticking to the whole MCU thing that has killed them the last few movies. They're making it so Reed Richards is pretty much just a character in the back, making it so Sue Storm is actually the lead.
They should have kept John Krasinski to play him, because Pedro Pascal is awful.
Yeah. They're taking Johnny Storm's character and pretty much neutering him, making him so he's not the womanizer smartass that he is.
Oh, of course not. God forbid he be fun.
Yeah, and that's his character. In comic books, even in the movies, he was that way. Chris Evans was actually really good as him, Johnny Storm, back in the first Fantastic Four.
You mean Chris Evans from Deadpool and Wolverine fame?
Yeah. yeah. But no, it's not looking good for this movie. It's not looking good for a few of the next Marvel movies.
Good.
It's just not looking
Screw them all.
Yeah, because they just won't.
It's obviously those reports that came out about Marvel secretly clearing house and shit. None of that happened. They were just saying it to get a few asses back in the seats, and they're not doing it.
And Pedro Pascal is one of the biggest.
No, he's awful. Out there. He's awful. The Last of Us, though, based on an absolutely putrid video game franchise, even though the first one was a masterpiece, but the sequel, you have to take into account, was an absolute train wreck. And so it absolutely tanks the franchise.
Yeah. Like I said,
but what I was saying about that is, aside from being based on this horrible thing, it was cast so horribly.
Yeah. So Bella Ramsey is absolutely atrocious actress.
And Spoiler, or just for like full like transparency, I have not watched the Last of Us show because I've seen what they did with the second game, and I just was not going to subject myself to it.
I liked the first season.
The first season was based on the first game. It was really, really, really good, good like storytelling.
I haven't even finished the second season because I can't get past her horrible acting, the DEI crap they're throwing in there,
Didn't they like go riding into like Seattle and there's all kinds of gay stuff painted on buildings and pride flags?
It's not just it's the whole pregnancy thing, the baby thing.
I'm gonna be a dad.
The way they're just it's just not good. The acting is.
It's funny how we just
Bella Ramsey is horrible. She's horrible.
We are gonna have to do an episode on that show, just like we're gonna have to do an episode on that and Rings of Power, aren't we?
Yeah, but that means we got to rewatch Rings of Power.
Well, I'd have to watch more than the first two episodes.
To be honest with you, I don't remember crap about it.
I remember it.
So bad.
I remember it, and I heard it was awful. It was so much worse watching it.
But if we're going to do that, we might as well go into, hey, let's do an episode on The Witcher, how season 1 was actually pretty damn good. And then they just went all DEI.
Yeah, season one I thought was really good. Season 2 I thought was fine.
It was okay.
I haven't watched season 3 because
season 3 I started to watch and I didn't even finish it because it just got so bad. It was never again about The Witcher. It was about what's her name?
Sorella.
Yeah.
Siri.
It just got so bad. But you got anything else before we get into our top 10 thing?
You know, I just rewatched Chernobyl for like the 4th time.
Chernobyl?
Awesome show.
It's a great show.
Awesome show.
Great show. We were just talking before we came in here. Stranger Things comes out in November, final season.
Nice.
Have you completely watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched. It was like it's what 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Yeah, I've watched the first 4 seasons.
Did you like it?
I really like the first 2 seasons, but it has started to tamper off.
First 2 seasons are great. Third season was.
Fourth season I thought was better than the third season.
Yes, 4th season was actually,
but still not nearly as good as the first 2.
Eddie made the.
Eddie made the 4th season, but yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping, but like we were saying,
I'm hoping they nail the landing.
2
but
years. 2 years.
They probably won't.
No,
because most of these shows don't. They like start going downhill. Just think of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Guy like at work just asked me, "You said that I should watch Game of Thrones," and I'm like, yeah, you have to watch it. First 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, still the best television that's ever been made. 5th and 6th, still really good, but a little bit of a drop off. 7th, oh my God, they're starting to lose it. 8 was it was unwatchable.
It was horrible.
It almost ruined the show.
No, I agree though. The first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones is some of the best TV ever made.
I think the best.
Yeah, well,
the best thing about it is that there was no plot armor.
Yeah.
You could love a character and they die the very next episode.
Yeah. No, that's true.
They had no problem killing off characters.
Nobody was safe in Game of Thrones.
Nobody was safe.
Nobody was safe in Game of Thrones up until probably that 5th season.
Even Jon died.
Yeah. And then they just started, people like, okay, this guy's going to die because you just know. But the first 4 seasons was just surprises.
If you remember the press tour and the red carpet events with the cast for the 8th season, they hated it. When you saw the like behind the scenes stuff, I forget the actor's name, but the guy who played Varys. Oh, wow. Remember when he was like reading his script and then he just like tosses it on the table and he's just like sitting there like so pissed off.
You could watch them reading it. They're all rolling their eyes and they're like looking at it like, it was bad. And the thing is, HBO gave them.
They gave them a blank check. Yeah, I don't really blame HBO.
Nope.
I mean, they have to take some of the credit because they did hire these morons. Yeah. But as soon as it like started to go downhill, they should have fired them and brought in new people.
No, but they literally gave them.
Who were willing to work with George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. They literally gave them carte blanche for that series. Here, extend it. Make it.
You have a blank check.
Yeah. But no, Okay. Well, with that
we're just rambling. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. With that being said, we're going to get into our main topic today, which we were supposed to do before Memorial Day, but again, we had work conflict scheduling and all that stuff. And this was top 10 war movies. Military war movies are one of my favorite genre movies. So
they're everyone's favorite.
This was one of my hardest ones to get. I had 30 movies on my list. It took a lot for me to get down to 10 plus 2 honorable mentions.
There's movies that aren't on my list.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm shocked about.
Yeah, same here.
Shocked.
So, with that being said, we'll have you go ahead and start with your honorable mentions.
Okay. So my first honorable mention, and again, I'm shocked that this isn't lower. Platoon.
Wow, it's that really?
I'm shocked.
Huh?
I am shocked, but I mean, yeah. 1986 stars William Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, Forrest Whitaker, John C. McGinley,
Johnny Depp.
yeah, Johnny Depp, Keith David. I spelled his name wrong.
Yeah.
I put Keith David, but it's Keith David. That's what was throwing me off.
I always
Directed by
forget
Oliver Stone. This movie obviously takes place during the Vietnam War. Awesome movie. That was what? No, that was not Johnny Depp's first movie. His first movie was
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
This was his second movie.
Really? Yeah. Well, he was really young, and
Yeah.
he has a
18.
few speaking lines, right?
18, yeah.
But not many.
Can't remember his name. Private.
I forget.
I remember.
You see him in the background a lot. Like
Yeah.
he's on camera quite a bit,
Yeah.
but I think he only has like a few lines.
What I liked about this movie was just the inner fight with
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen's character
Oh, yeah.
between this side of the platoon and this,
The
Tom
hippies
Berenger-
versus the hard asses.
Yeah,
or-
and the dopers,
Yeah.
versus the hardcore killers, and his struggle with that whole thing.
Tom Berenger was nuts in that
He was
movie.
awesome,
He
though.
was so good. You hated him so much. He did a great job.
And Willem Dafoe was great.
Yeah, everyone was really,
Yeah, but
really good at it.
To me, that's probably one of Tom Berenger's.
But yeah, it was like basically William Dafoe was like the head of the hippies.
Yeah.
And Tom Berenger was like the head of the psychotic killers.
Yeah, yeah,
Really good. Really, really
great
good.
movie, great scenes. Actually, what's his name? Who directed it?
Oliver Stone.
Yeah, Oliver Stone was actually in the movie. There's a when the sapper runs into the command center, blows up.
Oh yeah?
That's him.
He was a sapper?
No, he was the commander on the
okay.
radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So my next honorable mention, again, I thought this was going to be
And don't forget, Oliver Stone was actually in Vietnam.
oh, okay. Well, then I guess he should be the one that's making this freaking movie.
No.
Vietnam, what a shitty war to fight in. Just hot, humid jungles, and then you come home and everyone hates you.
Yeah. That's why that one part of Forrest Gump where he's in Vietnam about the rain and stuff was so good.
All right, my second honorable mention. Again, I thought this would be higher, but Kelly's Heroes. 1970. Clint, the friggin' man Eastwood, who just turned 95 recently. God bless him. Donald Sutherland. I think I spelled this one wrong too. I think it's Kelly Savalas.
Telly.
But I put.
Yeah.
Is it Telly?
Yeah, Telly Savalas.
Oh, well, then I did spell it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Don Rickles, Harry Dean Stanton, directed by Brian G. Hutton. Takes place during World War II. It's a World War II spoof movie.
Yeah.
Done in the 70s. So good.
Carol O'Connor, who played Archie, and that was in there as the general.
Look, this was a Clint Eastwood movie. Donald Sutherland stole it.
he was the
He
best.
absolutely. What the hell's his character's name? I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah. Oddball.
Was it Oddball?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Oddball.
Like I keep wanting to say D-Day, but D-Day is from Animal House.
Yeah. Great movie.
Do you know what?
But it had some good battle scenes in it mixed in with the comedy, and it was all about a gold heist.
Yeah. Essentially, it is a gold heist during the end of World War II. Yeah. This group of misfit soldiers want to get together and go behind enemy lines and steal this cache of gold. And it's friggin' hysterical.
Yeah, and they had to use the Nazis at the end.
Yep. And at the end, they had to make a deal with the Nazis because it was either. Yep.
That didn't even make my list.
Watch it.
Didn't even make
Watch
my
the
list.
movie. Did you remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it didn't make my list. So my first honorable mention is Gettysburg from 1993, starring Jeff Daniels, Tom Berenger, Martin Sheen, Sam Elliott, Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang. Wow.
He was Pickett, General Pickett. One of the best Civil War movies ever made. All about the Battle of Gettysburg. I mean, everything about it. That matter of fact, the cannon scene right before Pickett's charge that they did, that was the largest cannon barrage ever filmed on a movie. That Confederate barrage they did right before Pickett's charge. That was
I don't know if I've seen it. I might have seen it.
Jeff Daniels as Major Chamberlain from the Maine Regiment was fantastic. Tom
I
Baird.
have seen it. It's been so long.
Yeah, Martin Sheen played General Lee. Behringer played
I know I've seen it
Longstreet.
because Jeff Daniels is like really damn
Jeff
young
Daniels
in it.
has a lot.
And I do remember Martin Sheen being in this this Civil War movie with him. It's just been a while. There's a lot of war. Like I spent the past couple weeks watching a lot of war movies. The problem is that so many of them are either not streaming or on services that I don't have.
Yeah, and well, that's the problem. And now that everything's
And
on
there's
streaming.
so many friggin' services.
Yeah. So my next honorable mention is going to piss Dave off. They Were Expendable from 1945, starring John Wayne, Robert Montgomery, Ward Bond, and Donna Reed. Takes place right at the beginning of World War II, right after Pearl Harbor, during the whole Bataan and Corregidor offense by the Japanese. They're PT boat operators, and the Navy didn't know what to do with the PT boats. They were using them pretty much as a mailing type of service and messenger relays. But they finally realized that these PT boats were badass little boats, and they could sink a lot of stuff. They were fast. They were heavily armored. And then it ends up with the whole capture of those islands and the Navy realizing we need to expand the PT force. Great movie. Dave does not like John Wayne.
No, never will watch it.
I don't understand why. It's black and white, but this is one of the best. If you get a chance to watch
Can you imagine how good that movie would be if they actually got a real leading man?
Oh, Jesus.
Could you imagine?
Well, technically, the lead man in this was not John Wayne. It was Robert Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
Ward Bond.
So second leading man.
Which you probably don't know who Robert Montgomery and
No.
Ward Bond are.
Probably not. Maybe. I know, like, what's his name? The guy from To Kill a Mockingbird, Gregory Peck.
Yep. Great actor.
To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the best movies ever made. All right. Are you done?
I am.
My turn?
Yep.
All right. So my number 10, kick this list off. Inglourious Bastards. 2009. Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, Eli Roth, Diane Kruger, Daniel Bruhl. I don't know. I'm fucking retarded. Michael Fassbender, directed by Quentin Tarantino. It's one of Tarantino's best. Obviously, it's a fictionalized version of World War II.
Very fictional.
Very fictionalized, but Christoph Waltz
Was scary.
stormed into American cinemas as Colonel Hans Landa.
Scary.
I'm pretty sure this is his first American movie because I'm pretty sure Tarantino basically saw him, became a big fan, and wanted to bring him over and make him known to the American audiences. I don't remember him in anything before this.
I don't either.
But
He was known as the Jew Hunter.
yeah, he was awesome. Stole the movie. I mean, Brad Pitt was awesome in it.
He was there.
And there's a lot of cameos in it. Like, I mean, Michael Fassbender's in it, but he's more of a cameo. He's in
in
like
there,
two
what?
scenes.
That was the whole.
yeah.
They tried to count with three.
Three.
Yeah.
When there's supposed to be
Yeah.
three. At least that's what they said in the movie.
Right. But that whole scene in the French cabin
Oh, God.
scared. That guy
So good.
scared the piss out of me.
So good.
He just the way he would interrogating him, knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
He was.
If you haven't seen, I mean, if you're a Tarantino fan, obviously you have seen it, and there aren't too many people that aren't Tarantino fans. But if you haven't seen Inglourious Bastards, watch it. Just, I mean, it's highly fictionalized, but it's very entertaining. My number 9,
Movie.
and again, shocked it's this high. Shocked. Patton. 1970, George C. Scott, Carl Malden, James Edwards, Michael Bates, directed by Franklin J. Schaffner? I don't know. I can't read. Obviously takes place during World War II, covers all of Patton's exploits.
Yeah,
George C. Scott was awesome as Patton. I'm pretty sure this won Best Picture, and he won Best Actor for 1970.
so, yeah.
Back when the Academy still meant something.
Yeah. Yeah. It all. I mean, it covers his.
Yeah, it's basically what do they call it? Biopics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, it's about the North African campaign where he starts up against Rommel.
Yep.
And Rommel was actually afraid of Patton because he was considered him to be erratic. He could read other generals and figure out what it is. But that's why the Nazi regime did not like Patton because
No.
he was so erratic.
no. They thought that. Well, they were who I think they were most who like they feared the most.
Yeah.
Because he was erratic and he was very aggressive.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't give a shit.
That's why they used him as the decoy general for Normandy.
And he's the one that near the end of the war says we need to go into Russia. And everybody's looking at him like, why? And he's like, there are going to be problems.
Because our army's here now.
Yeah, there are going to be problems. And nobody would listen to him. And look where we have been for the last
Then
80
we got
years.
into a Cold War with him.
Yep. So, no, Patton's a great movie.
Awesome movie.
Great movie. The speech at the beginning.
Yeah.
My grandfather served under Patton in Europe. So, he used to tell stories about Patton. So, George C. Scott was awesome. He was a good actor, period.
He was awesome.
Yeah. So, my number 10 is going to make Dave mad again is Sands of Iwo Jima from 1949, starring John Wayne, John Agar, Forrest Tucker. Pretty much the island hopping campaign that the Marines were known for in World War II, starting off with the Battle for Tarawa, which was a bloody crap show, on to getting his platoon trained, go to Iwo Jima. Everybody should know about Iwo Jima. The flag raising on Mount Suribachi is still one of the most famous statues you're going to see. Actually,
it's one of the most iconic war photos of all time, if not the.
Yep, that was actually the one that's captured is actually the second flag raising. People see that. Oh, that's not. There was actually two flag raisings. The first one, then the generals didn't like it because it was such a small flag. They wanted a bigger flag put up, and that's what they did. They put the bigger flag on it. That's what was captured for a photo. But actually, interesting thing about this movie.
That also wasn't the end of the battle, too. That was the fifth day.
Oh, yeah.
Just had to put it up, and it lasted, what like 30-something?
38 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Suribachi was the easy part, really.
There was a lot of fighting and dying after that flag went up.
I was lucky enough when I was in the Marine Corps to actually go to Iwo Jima and go onto the island. And
was it basically a barren shithole with no water?
Black sand. When they say it's black sand, there's black sand that's on the beach that is literally feet deep. You can't walk in it. And these poor sons of bitches were walking it with full military gear, and I was lucky enough to go there. Okinawa. I was lucky enough to go into Guam, a couple of those battlefields in Pacific, and it's not. But interesting fact about this movie: Isaac Hayes, who was one of the flag raisers for the flag, actually was in the movie Sands of Iwo Jima as one of the flag raisers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. They actually put him in there.
Neat.
That's before because Isaac Hayes ended up being an alcoholic after Iwo Jima, going back, and that's what the Flags of Our Fathers goes into. And he actually ended up dying from alcoholism.
It's a shame they didn't put a real leading man in the movie.
Your disdain for John Wayne is unbelievable.
He's freaking terrible.
No, he's not.
He's awful.
No, he's not.
Okay.
So, number 9.
I asked you to name me 5 good John Wayne's movies, and you couldn't. I might be making that up.
I could name 20 good John Wayne movies.
Yeah, and you'd be lying after like maybe 1 or 2.
Okay. So my number 9 is Sergeant York from 1941, starring Gary Cooper, Walter Brennan, and Ward Bond. It is the life of Sergeant York.
Have you watched any war movies in color? I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you got to watch Sergeant York.
Oh, okay. Do I?
Yeah.
I don't have to.
He went in as he was drafted for World War I.
Does it have John Wayne in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was a conscientious objector. His religion refused, kind of like Hacksaw Ridge, refused to kill people. And, because of religious things, he did go over to Germany. And when he got there, he ended up winning the Medal of Honor and the French, what was it called? The French Croix de Guerre. It's like their version.
Probably a French word, I don't know.
Yeah, it's their version of the Medal of Honor. The
guy from Hacksaw Ridge, he got a Medal of Honor too, right?
That was, what's his name?
I forget his name. And I just watched that movie 6 months ago.
Doff? That's the last name.
Something like that.
Yeah. That was...
I'm pretty sure he won the Medal of Honor, though, right?
I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
99% sure he did. I mean...
But Alvin York from Sergeant York, he's gone down as one of the most decorated soldiers in World War II. Give it a shot. Yes, it's black and white, but...
Black and white doesn't mean bad.
He was a shooter because he had to learn how to hunt in the backwoods of Tennessee and Kentucky, turkey hunting. And that's what's made him such a good marksman in the trenches of World War I, which trenches. Whoever thought we would have been back to trench warfare in the 21st century, but Ukraine and Russia are in a trench warfare. So
With drones.
yeah, with drones, dropping Willie Pete on drones. So,
Okay.
white phosphorus is not a good thing.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just
I'll turn it over so it's right side up. My number 8, I went with The Patriot. 2000, Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger, James Isaacs, Tom Wilkinson, Chris Cooper, Adam Baldwin, directed by Roland Emmerich. Obviously takes place during the Revolutionary War. One of the few movies that actually take place during the Revolutionary War.
so. Just a quick thing. We were actually going to do a Revolutionary War episode. Very hard to come up with anything.
I've only seen like 4 things from it. It's shocking that there's not more stuff done with the Revolutionary
And
War.
most of them are TVs.
Especially when you consider all of the American legends, you know, the founding fathers. Like, how has there not been like, we have a Lincoln movie. We don't really have a George Washington movie.
No. Miniseries.
Yeah,
But
okay.
they're not movies. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's very little of the American Revolution.
And like, with like Washington, he was a British officer during the French and Indian War.
Yeah.
Then he was an American officer during the Revolutionary War. Then he became our first president. Like,
who was not a good officer during the French and
how
Indian
is
War.
this not like a 3-hour Steven Spielberg epic?
Yeah.
Like Lincoln got one, and he deserved one.
Yeah.
So does George.
You know, the most important war in American history, and there's nothing about it.
Arguably, it's this, Civil War, and World War II, where we became the superpower because the rest of the world blew itself up.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Yeah, we like wanted to do one, and then I did like 10 minutes of research, and I'm like, there's
I
nothing.
came up with like 9. So
I haven't seen them though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just rewatched Patriot a couple days ago. Love that movie. Yeah,
Very, very fictionalized.
it is very, very fictionalized. But again, just because it's fictionalized,
But it
doesn't
had some
mean it's
good
not
battle scenes
entertaining.
in it,
Yeah, it does show the Battle of Camden and stuff, and I mean briefly, but.
Yeah.
And you know the like characters that they name, and you know General Lord Cornwallis, and you know General Gates. You know,
Oh, yeah, they name the
what's his name?
characters.
Horatio Gates. Like they're real people.
Yep.
And they're real battles that they're fighting.
Yep.
But the stuff in between it, like the burning of the church, that
Yep.
that never happened.
Yeah.
My number 7 is
Number 8. No, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
number 8. Don't ever correct me again when you're wrong. Prick. I went with another Mel Gibson movie here. We Were Soldiers, 2002. Mel Gibson, Sam Elliott, who was hysterical as a sergeant major, Barry Pepper, Chris Klein, Greg Kinnear, Madeline Stowe, directed by Randall Wallace, and this took place during the La Drang Valley Vietnam War, or it took place in La Drang Valley.
The first air assault
Yes.
the Army ever did in Vietnam.
And for this particular battle that they showed, it was basically 400 men against 4,000 Vietnamese.
Yep.
Now, there was more parts of like the battle where the Americans got their asses kicked, from what I understand, if you read the book. But they didn't show that in the movie because it wasn't very
Yeah,
pro-America.
the only part they really showed were the
They showed a little bit.
lost platoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
awesome
that was-
movie.
Yeah, that was the very first air assault raid by the U.S. Army.
Mel Gibson and Sam Elliott were awesome in it.
Sam Elliott was great. As
He was awesome.
Love that line where if you ever call me mom or dad or whatever it was when you talk about
Grandpa.
kill
You're going, I'll kill you.
you. There's another person we got to do a thing about, Sam Elliott.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah. The Sackets. Oh, there's a lot.
The Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
He's one of the best characters in it, and he's only in a few scenes, but yeah. So yeah, that's my number 8 and 7. I went with the Mel Gibson duo there.
Yeah. My number 8 is Full Metal Jacket from 1987.
Shocked that didn't make my list.
Starring Arlie Ermy, Matthew Modine, and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, that was
Takes place in 1967, Paris Island to start. To this day, there is not one movie that will come close to showing
boot camp.
United States Marine Corps boot camp the way it was.
I heard Jarhead was really good with that.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I heard. Now,
all right.
I don't know.
They went a little overboard on a couple of things in the boot camp scene, but the way they were spoke to, treated, pretty much right. Right on. Arlie Ermy was Gunnery Sergeant Harmon, the senior drill instructor for the platoon. Actually, Arlie Ermy was in the Marine Corps. He retired as a staff sergeant, and he was given honorary gunnery sergeant after this movie. Then they move off to Vietnam, and the Vietnam scenes were pretty
Animal
good.
Mother.
Yeah. That was,
Adam Baldwin.
yeah. And he was great. The big scene everybody remembers in that is when Vincent D'Onofrio's, how do you pronounce his last name? D'Onofrio?
Sure.
Yeah. When he was
Dave,
at the end of boot camp.
I thought that we've established that I can barely read it. You're going to like
where he
throw that at me.
shoots Gunnery Sergeant Harmon and kills himself at the end of the boot camp scene. Everybody remembers that.
Just call him Vinny O.
Yeah, video. But yeah, Full Metal Jacket from 1987. My number 7 is Zulu from 1964, starring
Awesome
Michael
movie.
Caine, Stanley Baker, and Nigel Green.
Great movie. Great movie. Michael Caine's first movie.
Yeah,
And introducing Michael Caine. I could not believe that. He was awesome in it. Stole the movie.
and this is it's a battle depicting the Battle of Rorke's Drift between the British Army and the Zulu warriors of the what were they the
The African tribe or
yeah
something.
during the Anglo-Zulu War in 1879. It's about what is it, like 300 British soldiers.
Not in the movie. It wasn't
Yeah,
300. It was
it's-
like 50.
Yeah, it was very little. They're held up at a supply depot missionary.
looks like.
Yeah,
They got
and
like
they're
some livestock
surrounded.
there and like a couple gates.
Yeah, the movie is just excellent.
Awesome
Michael
movie.
Caine is
Michael
great.
Caine stole the show.
Yeah.
There was other great characters in it, like the sergeant major or something, or
Yes, yeah.
or like the company sergeant. But yeah,
Great
Michael
movie.
Caine was awesome. Loved it.
And then was in 1976 they did actually it was a prequel.
Which they show in the beginning of the movie a little
Yeah,
bit.
would have been Zulu Dawn, which was
was-
nowhere near as good as Zulu, but check both of them out.
Me turn. Me number 6. I went with another Mel Gibson, and I bet you know what I'm going to say.
Mel Gibson? I'm not sure. What is it?
Braveheart, 1995, starring Mel Gibson. Dave.
Yeah.
What's the matter, Dave?
One of the most overrated movies of all time.
Yeah, okay. Said you and you alone. Mel Gibson, Brendan Gleeson, who was awesome. Patrick
He was excellent.
McGowan, excuse me. Angus McFadden, who was awesome as Robert the Bruce.
Yep.
James Cosmo, Peter Hanley, David O'Hara, directed by
Mel.
Mel Gibson. Yeah, okay. This one took place in 1297 to 1305 in the First War of Scottish Independence.
Very, very fictionalized.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, none of the stuff
All
really
three.
happened.
Well, We Were Soldiers less so, but The Patriot and Braveheart.
Yeah.
Like, he came out in those two movies like 5 years apart, and they were essentially like the same thing, this over-romanticized version of, you know,
like
William
Braveheart.
Wallace,
Yeah.
and then, of course, Benjamin Martin and
I do like
Patriot.
Braveheart. It's just I don't think it's as good as what a lot of people think it is. The battle scenes are great.
You want
but
to
the
talk
rest of the
about
movie-
overrated movie? Avatar.
Oh, Avatar.
How is that even?
No,
Never mind.
Yeah,
You know what?
that's a whole.
I didn't want to get into that.
No, Avatar is a very.
I
overrated
could
movie.
like talk on that for a half hour. Just like. Ugh. Yeah. Braveheart. I mean, 1995. It basically swept the Oscars
yeah.
back when the Oscars
They
meant
cleaned
something.
house.
Yeah.
and like you said, when it meant something.
But I mean, like 94, 95. There were some great movies that came out those years. I mean, I'm glad that I was alive and old enough to appreciate it. Compared to the world we live in now and the entertainment that we get, please Disney remake the Star Wars trilogy and give each one of them a $7 billion budget.
And lose every bit of it.
Yup. I cannot wait to see a black transgender Luke Skywalker or
They're
something.
They're
I
so
don't know.
bad.
Is my turn still? Christ. Yeah. All right. My number 5, I went with Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, 2003. Russell Crowe, Paul Bettany, Billy Boyd, James Darcy, directed by Peter Weir. This movie took place during 1805 during the Napoleonic Wars. It was a British ship trying to chase down and sink a French ship.
HMS Surprise.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, that's right. I haven't seen the movie in a few years. It's not streaming on many things. I think I have it, though.
No. Very, very, very underrated movie.
Probably the most realistic depiction of what life was like aboard.
Early 19th century naval warfare.
Yeah. Like, there was parts of the ship where, depending on your rank, you weren't allowed to go.
Yeah. No.
And it's not very big out there, and you're out there for weeks at a time.
You look at those ships now. I mean, if you go down and see like the USS Constitution in Boston, back in the day, those were big ships.
Yeah, they're beautiful to look at too, but
they're so small.
I would not want to be on one of them for more than a day or two.
Yeah, no, but very, very underrated movie.
Awesome movie.
It's so good. The couple battle scenes they had, the boarding,
they're intense.
The boarding scene, that's the way it was.
That's more of a character-driven movie because, there are battle scenes and such, and they're excellent. But most of the movie is spent life on the ship,
stopping at the Galapagos Islands and looking for new butterflies and stuff like that. That was an excellent scene in the movie.
Yep,
no, it's a great movie.
And these like to have been in a few movies together, but Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany have great chemistry.
Oh, they worked well together in that movie. Yep. Paul Bettany's a really good actor.
They were, I think it was right after that they did A Beautiful Mind together too.
Well, yeah, that was right around the same time.
I think that was like 2004.
Yeah, Beautiful Mind.
And that's where Paul Bettany met Jennifer Connelly, and they ended up getting married. Yeah.
Who have a home where?
Well, I know they have a second home in Weston.
Yeah. So, where are we now? My number six. So my number 6 is Master and Commander from 2003. I mean, we just explained it. Underrated movie.
Deserves to be there. Awesome movie.
Watch it.
Very underrated.
Yeah, watch it. I don't. We just discussed it. It's you need to watch it. It's a great movie.
Awesome movie.
And then again, there's really not very many American-made movies about that type of warfare.
There's not a lot of stuff that involves ship. Like there's like not a lot of pirate stuff. There's like a couple shows. Yeah. There's not a lot of like naval warfare shows from like back then. And like you don't even think about the Navy during like the Revolutionary War, but there was one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there were battles.
Yeah. Yeah. So my number 5 is Patton from 1970, starring George C. Scott, Carl Malden. We just went over that. Like I said, it covers his accomplishments from the entry into the North African campaign.
A biopic.
Yeah, and, ended with his removal from command. And he was actually demoted a few times. He got in major trouble for slapping a soldier. Major trouble for that. Back in that day, it was a different world. These days you can't do stuff like that. God, some of these people need to be wrapped upside the head once in a while.
They need to be told no.
Yeah. And then his whole, at the end of the movie, saying, look, Russia's going to be a problem. We need to go in there now.
The army's here. Let's go.
Yeah. And people would not listen to him. And then he mysteriously died in a car accident.
Yep.
And to this day, there's people that
There's a sequel out that also
was not very good.
But it stars him, too. Yeah. Which it surprises me that it
was more about him going into his, because if you remember, he believed in reincarnation, and they were talking about more like that stuff there. But if you listen to you get to read into military history and history in general, people believe that he was taken out by U.S. government or Russia.
But the U.S. government's never killed anyone like that. Definitely not JFK.
Yeah. Or Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Or Martin Luther King.
Or can we go on and on? But I'm not a comparison here. Okay.
My turn?
Yep.
4. I went with Last of the Mohicans. 1992, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of his best movies. Madeline Stowe, Wes Studi, who was the Indian that you had in everything in the 90s that needed an Indian.
Because he was good.
He was excellent. Eric Schweg, I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm retarded. We know this. Russell Means, Maurice Reeve, I don't know. Stephen Waddington.
And you want me to just lay it on
You want me to just say Vincent D'Onofrio, or however you say his name, and I can't even say Waddington.
I think there was probably another 75.
Directed by
80.
Michael Mann, took place 1757, before our nation was even founded, during the French Revolution, the French and Indian War, the French and Revolutionary War. That's what I was going to say, Dave.
What fort was it?
Fort Sumter.
William Henry
Fort William Henry.
over in New York.
You know, it's sad because I just watched that like 4 days ago. They were trying to get word to Fort Ticonderoga, right? Mm-hmm. That I remember.
Great movie.
Awesome movie.
There was a lot of stuff that people don't. There was politics being played then. Mm-hmm. You know, lobby. You know, what do they call loyalists? And there's a lot of the frontier people were just pretty much left out to
Their own
fend for themselves.
Yep.
The British Army wasn't coming for you, so you had to make your way back. The French were allied with the Iroquois, right? And the English were allied with like the Algonquin.
I think they said like the Blackfoot tribe or something.
so-
They say in the movie.
It's a good movie.
Awesome movie. Just watched it not too long ago.
Again.
Always a great watch.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. He's really not in bad movies. My number 3, 2001, Black Hawk Down. Stars, and let's see if I can read these names. Josh Hartnett, Eric Bana, Ewan McGregor, Tom Sizemore, Jason Isaacs. He was in a movie earlier.
Yep.
William Fichtner, who's an underrated actor.
Yep.
Tom Hardy, Sam Shepard, Jeremy Piven, directed by Ridley Scott, and this was obviously the Battle of Mogadishu, 1993.
In Somalia. Another U.S. screw up.
Yeah, just leave that whole part of the world. Leave Africa and just leave the Middle East off to
They've
their
been
own
killing
devices.
themselves for years.
They have been. Just let them keep doing it.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen Black Hawk Down, it's based on a book of the same name. The book is so much better. As good as the movie is, which it probably... how many guys does it cover? Like 25, 30?
Yeah.
The book covers like...
Platoon.
The book covers like 80.
Yeah.
The book was so much better.
Yeah.
And the movie is fantastic. It just like... You can have... If like you have a great book, even if it gets a great adaptation, the books are normally better.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. I'm sure you're going to be saying it soon, aren't you, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you?
I will be.
It's another one you've said or that you've seen in Keller.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Platoon from 1986. We already gone over Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Donnie
movie.
Depp. Again, we went over it earlier. Charlie Sheen's character is just drawn in. You're already there to fight the Viet Cong and the Vietnamese, but you're actually also doing an interior fight with your own people to see whose side that you want to be on. And
The infighting.
the infighting was actually the driving part of that movie.
Yeah.
That what drove that me.
It basically was the main conflict in the movie was less them versus the Viet Cong and more them versus each other.
And just trying to get home. And yeah, I mean, watch it. If you haven't seen Platoon, I don't know where you've been. I mean, it won awards for a reason. It's considered one of the best war movies by a lot of people out there for
it
years.
is.
Yeah. So my number 3, you just went over, is Black Hawk Down from 2001. I'm not going to go over all the
We
actors.
agree on something.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over the actress again, but it was in 1983 when we went into Mogadishu, Somalia, to destabilize the government.
It was in 1983. 1990.
93, I'm sorry. Destabilize the government, bring food and humanitarian aid, which was being taken by the warlords.
What that was his name? Like something Farah Adid or something?
Yes,
Something like that.
Yeah. And they went in, they were always running Blackhawks and stuff around the city anyways. They went in there to catch this guy. 2 Blackhawks get crashed, and then it goes just shit show from there.
Didn't they, wasn't there 10,000 Marines in there or 5,000 Marines or something
The Marines were
beforehand?
there beforehand, and they took them out.
And then, when the Marines were there, all these warlords wouldn't do shit because they didn't want to mess with the Marines. Then they pull the Marines out and they're like, okay, well.
Another Bill Clinton screw up.
Okay, well, if they're not here, then we're just going to go.
And if you
do
read
whatever we want.
into the whole Mogadishu Somalia thing, guess who was there that they pretty sure that was in helping these people for a long time? Osama bin Laden.
Oh, well, I haven't heard that, but if
Clinton had a
really won't
chance
surprise
to
me.
take him way back then, and politics or politics. And it pretty much, this movie it follows the Task Force Ranger, which was the 3rd Ranger Battalion, the 75th Ranger Regiment, the Special Forces Detachment, which was the Delta Force, which Eric Bana's character was. He was really good in that movie.
He was awesome.
And then the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. They're the ones that were driving around the little helicopters, calling in everything. But yeah, just a great movie.
And again, a great adaptation of a great book. Watch the movie.
From a true life
If
event.
you enjoy the movie,
Yeah.
read the book.
Yep. There was actually 2 Medal of Honors recipients during that. They were, I can't remember their names, of the ones that were in the Black Hawk
I know.
after that.
I know exactly who you mean.
They're but
One of them was played by what the hell's his name? From like Game of Thrones, the Lannister, Jamie.
yep.
Eric
Guy's a Russian. Or,
yeah, he has like like one of those.
Yeah, you what? That's right. Look at you.
I know things. All right, my number 2. What do you think it is, Dave?
I don't have a clue because I don't know. What is it?
My number 2 is, again, a highly fictionalized.
Oh, jeez.
The Last Samurai, 2003. Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe, who stole the movie.
Best part of the movie.
Hiroki Sanada, who
was awesome.
again
Awesome.
stole the movie. Like Tom Cruise was in it, and
He was in it.
He was really good. I'm not just gonna say that he was in it. He was awesome. But Ken Watanabe and Hiroki Sanada were absolutely awesome. Billy Connolly when he was in it,
Yep.
awesome. Tony Goldwyn and Koyoku, who played Taka, his son, or Ken Watanabe's son. Timothy Spall, directed by Edward Zwick? I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm just wanting to see if you want to read, all the uncredited actors and everything. You want to read those off
Listen.
too?
I got to give these people their props, okay? They were major characters in the movie, all right? I don't just do like the main guy and then the second guy, okay?
Well, you take
People want to know.
20 minutes of just these actors.
Well, yeah, that's how our shows last an hour. So, shut up and let me do my thing. This took place during the Satsuma Rebellion, 1876. It's basically when they were getting rid of the samurai
Pushing
and
Christianity.
transitioning to a new way of life. And the samurai, a lot of them didn't like it.
Yep. No, they're trying to push the Christianity onto the Japanese
Now,
society.
in this movie, they wanted warriors from America. I believe in reality, they wanted warriors from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like the whole fictionalization comes in because they, had
The last battle scene was awesome.
the last battle scene was awesome. And him just being stuck in that village for like a year with them and getting to know them and fall in love with the culture and
Getting the crap beat out.
and the shots of like the country and the mountains were just gorgeous. Like,
I mean, I was in Japan and it looked like Japan there. The samurai culture over there is just unbelievable.
yeah, it is a honor culture, but also very godless because there's no sanctity of like life to them.
Yeah.
If you are dishonored, you die.
Yeah.
And then your son dies.
Yeah.
And your wife has to kill herself too.
And that was a good thing about Shogun, the movie. When they had that, this is what happens. You dishonor.
It is a godless society. There's no other way to say it. They don't have sanctity of life. It's all honor based, and that's just what they believed.
The Americans would fail bad at that.
Yeah. Oh, especially now.
Oh my God.
And my number 1.
Do you want to just save that? We'll discuss it because I know it's the same as mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What's your number 2, Dave?
My number 2 is All Quiet on Western Front from 2022 and 1938. The 2022 movie. What's that?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Is Felix Kaminer and Daniel Brühl talking about the Western Front during World War I, where warfare got to the point where at its most deadly. I mean, you were introduced to the flamethrower, introduced to mustard gas, the first use of chemical weapons in human history. And then the big one comes, and I mean, you think those two are big, then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're fighting horses still, some cars and trucks. You're fighting guys with machine guns, which the first true war with the first machine gun nest, just mowing people down by the hundreds. And then all of a sudden you look up and you have tanks coming for the first time, and you had nothing to Nothing. You couldn't stop a tank.
They had to basically break down.
Yeah, trench warfare at its most brutal. You died in a trench, you laid there. You died out on no man's land, you laid there until, you rotted. But this movie, you really should watch it if you want. Watch the 1938 one, but you won't because it's black and white. But the 2022 version is excellent. But All Quiet on the Western Front from 2022, great movie. So go over number one. I tried everything in my power to keep this off number one.
Go. They know. Yeah. You know. I know. What is it?
Saving Private Ryan. 1998. Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore, Barry Pepper, Vin Diesel. You can just go on and on and on for the people of that movie.
Paul Giamatti. Nathan Fillion.
Ted Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson.
But that first 20 minutes of that movie.
Do you remember when that movie came out?
Oh, yeah.
There was news reports on TV about veterans having to leave the theater and just because it brought them back there. Steven Spielberg essentially recreated the Normandy landing to the point where these vets were having PTSD and they had to leave. And, back then, World War II vets were still alive and kicking.
Very few of them around right now.
Oh, yeah.
But that movie, that first scene, intense.
The whole movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
There's not a bad part in the movie.
No.
It's what it is.
Spielberg has, in my opinion, his big three, and that's one of them.
Yeah. But everything about the movie, the filming, the way they did the filming of the beach assault.
I don't know how it was just, how do you coordinate that?
Yeah. The brutality that they showed, the parts where, guys were just breaking down, bawling, showing what happens when a glider doesn't land the way it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And it all comes down to trying to save Private Ryan, who his other three brothers were killed in different parts of the war. Yep. And they're out to find him. They find him, and
twice.
Yeah.
First time was Nathan Fillion. Who wasn't James Francis Ryan? He was James Frederick Ryan.
Yeah. But everything about it, that last battle scene in the village using mortar rounds as grenades. Because
from what I understand, when Barry Pepper was up in the tower doing the hand signals, I think they were authentic.
No, they are. No, those are real military hand signals.
Yeah.
How you
count. Little details like that. Just
Well, you had, what's his name? Dye.
Dale Dye.
He was their military.
Well, but he's also the military advisor for every war movie.
But he knows his shit. Well, he's a military historian, a retired colonel in the United States Marine Corps, and that's all he does is study war and goes and makes you, if you're going to do this scene, you're going to make this movie, you're going to do it correctly.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, I don't know what you're doing, but you have to go see it. No, just say go see it. You
Without
have to watch
question.
It. And I tried everything I could to keep this off.
Without question, the biggest Best Picture snub in Oscar history. And back then they still meant something because movies back then were great.
But you look at the movies they were going up against back in those days.
What won that year?
What was that?
Go ahead. I know it. You know it.
I do know it.
I've never seen it, and I refuse to see it because I'm like, there's no way this movie's better. I don't care.
The English? No. What was it?
Shakespeare in Love.
Shakespeare in Love. That's right. Yeah.
I probably should watch it just because.
But what I think some of the stuff I heard was they didn't want a war movie to win.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
1998, the most influential, consequential movie to come out of that year, let alone that decade.
Yep.
Was Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And the 90s were a treasure trove of amazing films.
Yeah.
You had Schindler's List and Shawshank Redemption, two movies that are widely considered the greatest movie ever made, and they both have a case for it. And yet, Saving Private Ryan stands right there with them, but it didn't win for that year. But
no, and
then again, Shawshank didn't win its year either.
Yeah. I tried everything I could to keep this off number one because I knew you would have it number one. I couldn't.
It's the greatest war movie ever made.
And when I say
the
it's
only
number
war
one,
thing better than it is Band of Brothers, and it's because it's like a 10-hour long episode of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Because again, Spielberg and Tom Hanks were involved.
Yeah.
It's And if you've never seen Band of Brothers,
I don't know what you're doing.
fucking see it.
Band of Brothers,
oh my
The
God.
Pacific, both are excellent.
Band of Brothers is better than the Pacific.
Oh, yeah, no,
the Pacific is still excellent, though.
Yeah.
The Pacific suffers from the same thing that Flags of Our Fathers suffer from, and that's when they take you out of the Pacific and bring you back during their War Bonds tour. I get it; it's something that really happened.
Yeah. But that's
Get
what I
me
think
back.
they wanted to show. They wanted to show how John Barcelone became a war bond salesman.
Yeah.
And then we said, hey, I got to
And
go
war
back.
bonds were important back then because back then, the federal government actually respected the national deficit, and they're like, well, we can raise this much, so we need the American people to raise the rest.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah. So
There is a quick note. This last week or two, I've watched Letters from Iwo Jima and Flags of Our Father, which were two movies that Clint Eastwood made about, obviously, the Battle of Iwo Jima. And he made each one from each side's perspective. And it was like, it's kind of funny that more people haven't thought of doing something like this before, but he did. Both of them were great movies. Letters from Iwo Jima probably would have made my list. And again, it's because of a little actor named Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
He's just awesome.
like I said, I had like 30 movies on here. This took me a long time to get it down to
The
what I
Japanese cast of that movie, and the American movie was well cast. Letters from Iwo Jima was so much better.
But again, what it shows is
so
the
good.
brutality of the Pacific War. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was our top 10 war movies. Our next episode is going to be another episode of top 15 actors
We try to come up with a few more war ideas, and
with roles you have to watch. So like we did like a month ago, we're going to have 15 actors and then a role from each one of those actors that we consider a must watch from that specific actor.
yep.
So
Looking
got
forward
anything to
to it.
say before we head out?
No, Dave, I'm done with you. It's already been an hour. The gods are
So,
restless.
I'm surprised they haven't knocked on the window yet. Out of here. So with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or anything, give us a shout, and we will see you next Monday. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.